popping up here. And let me stop the transcription part right there. All right. So congratulations, everybody. You made it through what I consider one of the hardest weeks. You got into a class that you may not have necessarily wanted, but you were kind of put into it, and it was online, and you may not have wanted that, and you were kind of shoved into that, and y'all did really, really well. Okay, so some people have some assignments that you may not have necessarily were able to finish. And if you didn't get to finish those, one of the assignments this week is self-evaluation, where you go through and you check to see where your scores were from last week. And down at the bottom of that, there is a thing that says, did you finish your assignments from week one? And you check the box that says no. And then underneath that says, do you want an extension? And it lists those assignments except for the discussion. And you say yes for that. And when I see that, I will put those extensions in. Okay. Now, part of the reason why it's done this way in my class is number one, I want to make sure you know what you're doing or not doing in the class. Okay, it's accountability. You need to know what you're doing and not doing in the class. That way you didn't go down to week 3 and go, oh, I didn't realize this or I didn't realize that. Yeah, you do realize that because you see it. Every week you're going to see it. Also, it keeps me accountable because when I go through there, I go, okay, you need that extension. There's also a thing in there. What is kind of keeping you from being able to finish? Is it outside influences? Are you just confused about something? Is it too much? Or what's kind of going on? So I can offer some sort of help. All right. So that's the purpose. It's not to embarrass anybody or anything like that. It's not to make somebody feel shamed in any way, shape, or form. I want to be able to help you get through this. It's a requirement. It's something that you will honestly need out there. I'll always have somebody who goes, well, what am I going to do with this in the welding booth? Well, welders are, you're going to only be in that welding booth a small portion of that job. You're not going to be a robot stuck in there and just weld and weld and weld and weld and weld. For one thing, that would be extremely dangerous. You wouldn't be able to keep up with that. A lot of what you're learning here is you're learning how to follow directions, how to be detail oriented, how to read and interpret these things, communication, all these soft skills that go around that, that's going to help you in that career. Same thing with the electricians, the HVAC, and all those. All these things are going to be so important. Okay. Somebody's got their microphone on. You may not realize that. So check those mics, people. You're on live. Okay. So these are things that are important. As we go out and we talk to the people who are doing the actual hiring, they're letting us know these are the skills that really make a difference. When you go in and you're like, I can do this and this and this, but they're looking at those other skills because they've got 5 people that are sitting there in front of them and you've all got those identical skills. It's not that. They're looking, what else do you have? Okay. So if you didn't get something in, let me know through that. The other thing is that self-evaluation, that's going to get you attendance for today as well, because you have to have something done because Mondays are an attendance day. All right. So that's a great way to do that. Kind of reminisce, think about what you did last week and get that attendance. Okay. Everybody good so far? Yes. Any questions? Drop it in the chat box, unmute that mic, send up smoke signals, let me know. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and keep on rolling. I'm going to show you some things that are going to possibly help you with the class in general. And then we're going to jump into what we're doing this week. Okay. And we're also going to talk about what happened since it's a midterm week. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to do a screen share here. Right there. That should be popping up. Yep, it did. And I'm going to view this as a student. Okay, so a couple of people did try to access assignments right here on the left-hand side where it says McGraw-Hill SimNet. Don't do that. Nope, nope, nope. Makes things way, way harder. So don't try to do that or the to-do list. Go into the modules every time you need to do assignments and go down to the week that you're in. This also answers the questions, what's due today? Okay, got that a lot. It'll tell you right here, due Monday by midnight, due Wednesday by midnight, due Sunday by midnight. Okay, I want to make sure everybody knows what's going on through the week. Okay, Monday by midnight, the reason why that's in there, that'll get you that attendance. Okay, Wednesday by midnight, this is a Southern Tech requirement. They want everybody to make sure that they put that in there so that people get in there and they get something done. Part of the reason why is what happens on Thursday, it's an attendance. Okay, even though everything is open through Sunday, you have an attendance that you have to meet on by Thursday. By getting that first post in there, you will be guaranteed that. Okay, this is really critical for people who are in any type of the VA fundings, a lot of Pell Grants, things like that. You have to have attendance requirements, and if you don't hit those, then you have to worry about those financial repercussions. So that's a great way to make sure that you're hitting those. Okay, now grades up here. There's on the left hand side, click on grades. When you're looking at your grades and you're going through here, this column over here, see this where there's this one with these two little uh, conversation bubbles? If you click on that, you'll see if I've left comments for you. If you see that, that means there's comments I left. These are comments. Look for them in your assignments. And you'll see my name there. That means that I left you a comment. The most common one that I left were on the discussion. Hey, great first comment. Looking for your next two. If you put two in there, first two comments were fantastic. Can hardly wait to see your final one. Okay. A lot of people posted one time in the discussion. They threw away 80 points. Boom. Okay. There's no makeup, no extending discussions. That's not my choice. That's a Southern Tech thing because it's considered participating in the classroom itself. Just like a live classroom, you can't go back and have everybody come back and we go, hey, it's Monday again. Number one, that would be horrible. We'd all have to do Monday again, and we don't want to do that. So I tell you, look, you're missing this. Come back. You're missing this. Come back. Check those. See if there's comments in there that's important. Okay. The other thing is, I tell you, when you go in to post in that discussion, even though it says your first one is due, if there's somebody in there and they've already posted something, read what they have to say and respond. Knock all three posts out when you can. Save yourself some time, save yourself effort, get those points. Okay? Find somebody in there because I have the memory of a goldfish, like 3 seconds. Boom, shake my head, and it's like an etch a sketch. Just some of you may not know what etch a sketches are, but you shake it, my memory's gone. Okay, and so while you're in there, try to do things all at the same time and be done with it. It'll be a lot easier on you and it's better time management. Okay, but that's where you'll find comments that I leave. If you notice, hey, my grade's not so good on this, see if I left a comment. There might be a reason for it. And always ask questions when there's a situation. Okay, so that's something that's important there. All right, so let's take a look at what's happening this week. Any questions so far? Are we all good? Looking for those emojis. We're all good? Everybody's all right? All right. Okay, so we flew through week one. We are in week two. This is our self-evaluation here. Now, you'll notice as you're going through, you might get things right, wrong, or whatever. That part isn't as important as just answer them. Okay, look at what it says and answer according to you. Okay, and it's like, and it's going to ask you, what was your score? So you need to know what your scores were on the assignments before. And then as you get further down, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how did you think the number of assignments were? You know, were they were they bad? And not very bad. Or 10, oh, there were way too many. Okay. I do have to give you assignments. I have had people say, oh, can't we just watch a video? No, no, you can't do that. A difficulty. Did you think it was difficult or too difficult? Okay. And I want you to be honest about it. Okay. And what about outside stress? Last week, I'll tell you, I had a lot of stress going on. Sometimes you don't. That can impact the class. That can impact you. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to help you best. And confusion, I was okay with it. Or I really need help, contact me and I'll reach out to you.
I got a question.
Okay. Yes.
So you just want a number and the answer? That's it?
Yeah. You don't have to give me any detail, just a number, 1 to
Oh,
10. Yeah. If you want to put detail, it will take it, I believe, but I think it's just looking for a number when I set it up. Okay. So on this one here, if you were in the online session, put an O, watch the recording, put an R, skip both, put an F, or you watch both, put a B, whatever. I have people who are very honest and they said they skip both. That is fine. It's not a punishment thing. What I'm trying to do again is see how best to help if somebody needs help. Okay. I don't do punishment things, okay? That's not learning. But if somebody comes to me for help and they haven't done either, I'm going to say, this was covered here, but let me show you how to do this. And I'm going to try to push that. Maybe those ways of doing things don't work for you, but I'm going to let you know what was or wasn't covered so you're aware. Maybe you weren't aware. Okay. And if you completed all of it, say it's true, or if you didn't, that's false. And do you need an extension on that? If you don't, say false. Okay, I couldn't put yes or no. The quizzes don't let me do that. And then you do that, and it says, I've got unanswered ones, but that's okay. And then say submit. And it's going to auto grade it. Whatever it says the grade is, don't worry about it. I'm going to go back and grade it. And because I'm going to check to see if you need anything extended. Okay. If you answer everything in here, you're going to get the full points. I want to know your answers. Okay. That's the purpose of this. I need to know it so I can help. All right. That is the whole purpose of this, is so that I can help you. All right. So that's what I am doing with that. All right. Didn't mean to jump all the way out of that. Let me
I have a
jump back.
question.
Yes.
My computer shut out on me from the where I couldn't hear you for a few minutes, and in the process, you started talking about the what you were just going through. What was
Yes.
that? I realize that's questions or whatever. What was that where I would know to go to respond to that?
That is the self-evaluation.
Okay,
Okay.
so okay. The rest of
Yes.
it I can basically get. I just didn't know. I was like, oh crap, because
Yeah,
my
that's
computer
this one
stopped where I couldn't hear
right
you.
here, the self-evaluation for
Okay,
week 1. Okay, so
okay,
if you do that before midnight tonight,
all right,
what that's going to do is that's going to give you the 100 points.
okay,
And that will also give you the attendance for tonight as well.
okay.
Okay,
I
so that's the
appreciate
good
that.
thing. No, absolutely. If something like that happens, that you did it exactly right, let me know so that I can go back over that. So that's what that's going to do for you. And so it works like a double whammy. And if you're missing something, you can indicate on there, and I know who to give an extension to. Otherwise, what happens is I get a bunch of emails and texts asking for extensions, because
Mhm.
extensions in this class, I have to open each one individually per person. Okay.
Right.
So if you
Yeah.
miss 2 assignments, I have to open 2 assignments for you. Next person misses one, I have to open one. So I'll do it, but I need to make sure that I get the ones for you. Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciated. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And the thing with extensions, okay, extensions for week 1 will end Sunday. After Sunday, week 1 will not be available the remainder of the class. Okay. Extensions have a limit, and week 1, if you get an extension or not, week 1 assignments will not be available after Sunday. So if you miss assignments and you think I'm going to make them up the last week of the class when I see how many points I need to get this or that, no, it doesn't work that way. Week 1 and week 2 are not available the last week of the class. This keeps anyone from skipping out on week 1 and 2 and trying to do the whole class the last week. All right. Everybody got that? All right. Okay, so that takes care of this one here. And always keep in mind, everything is open right now. So if you want to work ahead and faster, depending on your schedule, and I actually have one student who has finished everything already today. I saw that. They got in, boom, 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 boom. That's their schedule. And they are done for the week. And,
I
you know,
have a
that,
question.
yes.
I'm sorry. What time? When it opens up for the next week, when does it release? Does it release at like midnight on Sunday going into Monday, or what time do we normally get in there?
1 minute after midnight. It actually has to flip
Really?
to the next day. So Monday, as soon as it becomes Monday, they are available. Some instructors wait till open it up till 8 o'clock or this or that.
Okay.
I don't do that. Everybody is on a different schedule. If you'll notice,
Okay.
we have daytime students, we have nighttime students, all
Yeah.
put in one class. So if I open it at 8 o'clock in the morning, some students might not be able to get to it till later because they were getting off work. Now they don't have time to work with it because they have to go to bed. So it would give a disadvantage no matter what. So I open it as soon as it's available. I
Okay.
really tried to make it as fair to everyone as much as I can within the limits that I have. I cannot open weeks early until we get down to the final week. The last week will open early on Friday before.
Wow.
And the
Okay.
reason why I do that is the last week of the class will end on a Thursday. And since you don't have a weekend to work on it, I have permission to open that final week the Friday before to give you that extra time to work on it.
Thank
And
you.
and I let them know. I said a good majority of my students need a weekend to work on things, and uh, I'm going to open it. Even if you say no, I'll agree with you, but I'm going to open it. So I can either do it with or without permission, and I'll just have to get in trouble every month. But they need a weekend,
Thank
and
you.
so they allow it. I'm not getting in trouble. I'm not a rebel. I'm just, I just had to show proof as to why. So that's why we do that, and pretty much all the classes now are able to do that. We just had to, you know, show why that's necessary, and it was
Right.
a practical necessity. So that's what we do. So week 2 discussion and word in your career. So a lot of people don't quite know why they need word, and I'm going to give you some practical reasons. Okay. Sometimes when you get hired letting people know I'm I'm so excited to take this job, and you know that I'm going to be going on vacation in a month. And they say, yes, that's not going to be a problem. And then after you're hired, it's a problem when that month happens. I see this all the time. So what you do is you write something down in Word, and when you get hired, you have them sign it. Always have signatures, always have documentation. Some of you may have watched Judge Judy on TV. If it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. Once you hang up on the phone, it doesn't exist. Get things in writing. Okay. If you're working for friends and relatives and it involves money, get it in writing. Word is the perfect thing. Type it up in Word, print it out, get it in writing. It'll keep friends friends. It'll keep families together. It keeps businesses straight. You agree to do work for anybody, and then you do the work and they don't want to pay you because it's not what they asked for. You had an agreement, but nothing was in writing. So that is a great thing, is always make sure it's in writing. If you have a conversation with somebody on the phone, send them something, put it down per our phone conversation. Boom, boom, boom. Now, that may sound very nerdy, right? That sounds nerdy. Okay. I never have a problem getting paid. Okay. Now, I can program in 16 languages. That's not trying to brag. So I do uh, freelance programming. I charge $300 an hour. Okay. I make no qualms about $300 an hour. As soon as that hour is up, you pay me $300 up front. Okay. If it takes 5 minutes and I'm done, you still pay me that $300. Up until I hit that next 60 minutes, then you pay me $300 again. It is in writing. If it ever comes down to anything, I'll see you in court. I don't beg you on the phone. I don't do this. I don't do that. I see you in court. Pick out which one of your cars you want to sell. Pick out the house you want me to put the lien on. I don't argue. See you in court. That's for lawyers to decide. I get my money. Okay. Rihanna wrote a song about it. I love that song because you better have my money. Okay. Right here. Creating job estimates for clients. Boom. Right there. Okay. I see a hand up over here. Is there a question over here?
Yeah, on that discussion, at least in my career, I'm a medical assistant, but we don't
Hmm.
really use Word, and the
Hmm.
reason being on that is because our programs, like whether it's Epic, Greenway, Cario, or whatever program it is that we use, we already have everything that makes it easier for us to make referrals. Um, what was it? It was referrals, discharge papers, or even like letters that we can like excuse letters for our
Cor-
patients. We don't really use Word because it's already in the program. So we don't
cor-
really use it unless our
correct.
system goes down, then we have to like write down really thoroughly for the provider to sign off on. That's the only time that we actually use it, when our system is down and it's down for a few, like a few hours.
Correct. And I'm familiar with Epic. So I worked for Electra General Hospital for 13 years and I trained nursing, doctors, etc. and I worked with the pathology departments and medical records and everything and trained them on those as well. And part of that is also look to your skills going forward and when you go to look for a job and you're doing that resume, what are you going to write that resume in?
Word,
Exactly. And what are you going to write that acceptance letter in?
Word.
exactly. And if you need to turn down a job, etc., it's an easy way to do it. And now, even though our SimNet doesn't allow us to do it on a phone, you can do Word on a phone, on a tablet, so
Yeah.
many ways. So they've made them more accessible. And so I see another hand up here.
Yeah, I got a question. Um, yeah, I got a question. Just tell them that I gave you. I got a question. Um, the question is on the Microsoft Word, right? Do we have to? We just pretty much just have to explain in our career field on what we would use Word with.
For this discussion,
Yes.
yes. So in this discussion here, it's like, why is it important for you to have these documents? Why is it important for you to be able to use it? So anything along those lines would be perfect for this. And so these were some of the things that I came up with because sometimes it's hard for people to come up with an idea. So what particular career field are you in?
Weldon.
Welding. Okay. So job estimates are going to be one thing. Safety. Okay. Welding uses some of the most dangerous pieces of machinery out there. Okay. When you're using plasma cutters, things like this and that. And you are going to be working in teams. You could possibly have another person there as well, depending on what you're welding. We always think of small projects, but larger projects you could be working as a team. So there are different safety procedures that you have to follow. Nobody wants to blow anything up by using gases incorrectly, for one thing. So that's something else. Inspections. You will have inspections all over the place. Um, and that's never fun. You don't want to have a job site or any place shut down for bad inspection. So those are things. The other things, bosses love to do lunch and learns. Translation, we're going to teach you why you eat so we don't have to pay you more. That's what a lunch and learn actually means. And they will show you different welding techniques, usually in videos, things like that. And then you can go back and try those, or one person gets trained and then you learn. So those type of things can all be done up also in Word because I can put the diagrams in them. So anything on how you would use it in Word, that's great. Even if it's just making signs to put on the machines. Hey, don't forget to unplug this and that. You name it, put it in and write it up here, and that's your answers. Same thing for
So
HVAC.
the
Yeah, go ahead.
so the discussion is also 250 words or no?
You can always find the requirements down here. For your first one, 150 to 200 words, which that's approximately 7 to 10 sentences. So it sounds like a lot, but when you break it down, it's not a lot. Okay. And that's for your first post. Your second and third post, I want you to read those other responses and answer accordingly. Okay. Now, if you start getting into, I agree, no, I don't agree with that. Okay. I want you to answer them the way you would as though you were talking to the person. Okay. I'm not looking on your second and third ones for them to, oh, you better make it 150 to 200 words. I'm not looking for that. I want you to answer the way you would talking. And you'll find that if you do that, you're going to come up with a nice little response. Okay. And everybody that's out here knows, you can tell when you read the answer if somebody put any thought behind it, or they're just, oh God, I got to get this down because I'm running out of time. Right? We all know that. I've been there. It's like I've put down a quick answer just to try to get a response out and hope that nobody noticed it. I've done that many a time. You know how many years I've had to go to school because I've switched a career or this or that and went for a different certification? Yeah, I've done that. Not real proud of it, but I've done it. So try to answer like you really would, okay? And don't try to, you know, for lack of a better term, don't try to pull one over. Just answer a real question. How would you do this? And if you're wondering if you're hitting close to these words, just look when you do your reply down here. It does a word count for you. Let me move this out. So down here, see down here in the corner, it tells you how many words are down there. Okay. So as you type, like if I type in hello there, you'll see it's keeping track of the words. Okay. But don't just keep track of the words, answer. And if you're not 100% in that range, but you have a really good, thoughtful answer, I'm not going to count that off. But if you have a really short answer and it looks like no effort was put into it, yeah, I'm going to have to hit you up on that with the scores. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand that? We need to really think about the answers and answer them legitimately, okay? You do me right, I do you right. All right? Because the whole thing here is this is your career. This is a change, and we want to be good at it, okay? That's the thing. We want to be good, and not just good, we want to be the best. And this is opportunity. And this is how you show, if I can do this, I can do anything, right? So that's how we do that. Don't look at it as punishment or busy work. There's reasons to think these things through, because that's also going to guide you as where you can go in your career, because it can help elevate you. Now, 3 chapters in Word. Do not freak out over the thought of 3 chapters, okay? The reason being is because I went through everything like I always do. I don't give you anything I haven't done. And I go through here and I pull out the things I think you're never going to use this, okay? Now, this will teach you all the things that everybody stumbles through, poking and clicking and poking and clicking, trying to figure out what to do. Okay, so you click on the chapters. Remember, we always go to the assignments through here. Click on the chapter, and it's going to launch. Now, when you start a chapter, your grade is going to drop. Boom. Okay, just like something on sale, the price drops. Your grade is going to drop. And the reason why it drops is because as soon as you start this, you have a 0 out of 100. So that makes your total overall grade drop, because your grade on your chapters is continuous. So while you're working, the further you go, your grade goes up and your overall grade goes up. Okay? Everybody at your campus knows this as well. So if they ask me, why so-and-so's grade so low? I let them know, because they're working. They're doing what they're supposed to. You go back and do what you're supposed to and leave them alone. Okay? So you come in here and you look, and you have 16 items. Okay? That's not a lot. Remember, you can always start and stop. Make yourself comfortable. Listen to music if you like it. You know, crank up whatever you like. Click on the first item. Now remember, you don't have to do the first 2 if you don't want to, or you can do either one of them, or you can jump straight to the let me try. The choices are always yours. If you go to the let me try and it says open Word from the start menu, well, you kind of had something like that in the first chapter. So here is start. We learned that from the first chapter. And there's Word. So if I click on Word, boom, I did one of those items already. Okay, so that was quick. I can just click continue. Now I'm on number 2. I don't really like the video. I'm going to give it a try. Go to let me try again. Okay, now this does take some getting used to because you do have to know a little bit about sentences, and that says place your cursor at the end of the first paragraph and type in the following. Okay, this is the thing I do not like about this book. This part here where it starts with in all the way to the period is what it wants you to type. Number 1, I think that's too much to type. And number 2, it's hard to tell that the period is included. So the other thing is you have to know where the first paragraph is. Okay, and the first paragraph is actually this part right here. So you click there and you have to type that. Now, you can't cut and paste. I wish you could. You actually have to type it. So I'm going to type in addition to our classic spa services. We have added, and I hate that they can't just make a nice simple short sentence. And if you type it wrong, you have to type it all over again. And so we'll see if I got this one correct. Nope, I think I did I left out a D here. I don't know if it's going to let me put it in there. Sometimes it won't let you edit. Oh, I actually got it right. I am surprised that it let me take that. And then it will tell you now delete the word very. So I double click on very and press the delete, and I get to continue or close that. So that's what you'll be doing just like you did before, and you're going to be doing that for those 3 chapters. Okay? Take your time with them. Now, if you're in one of these chapters and you get to one of these items and you cannot figure it out, say I'm on number 5 and I'm on the let me try and I just can't get this one, I can't get this one, don't just give up, okay? Don't just get so frustrated you give up. Up here in that upper left-hand corner, it says skill 5 of 16, okay? Make note of that. Text me, say, Mr. Haley, I'm in Word chapter 1, or I'm in Word chapter 2. Please let me know what chapter you're in, because since there's 3 chapters, I won't know which one you're in. Tell me what skill number you're on, and then once you text that to me or email that to me, come over to that right arrow in that upper corner and go boom, and go to the next one. Okay? Just go on, keep going. Don't worry about it. Let me deal with that. Okay, everybody got that? No worries. Go to the next one. I will take care of it and let you know what to do. It's not worth getting frustrated or that's it, I can't do this, I'm not. No, we don't give up, okay? You continue to the next one. They don't get harder as it moves down. Each one is on its own. So just further down in the chapter does not make it harder. Each one is its own item. All right. Okay, so that's how you do that. And don't forget, you can use that hint and you can watch that video as well and do those step by steps. So there's a few ways to try to figure that out. But if you're just getting frustrated, send it my way. Don't send the whole chapter my way, and we'll get you through. Okay. The quiz is like the quiz last time, and 20 questions, 3 attempts. You say, take the exam, say that you agree, and start the exam. And you do the same thing as you did before. Remember, if you do get something incorrect, pull out that phone or write it down. There's your hint right
Hold
there.
on. Hey, I no, I mean I didn't get a text message, but I think it is. Just go and get it right now.
Your microphone is on. I don't know what we're supposed to go and get.
That's too
Thank
funny.
you. All right, thank you. So if you get that wrong, don't forget about that hint message popping up there. All right. Okay. So that takes us through that part. So see, it sounds like a lot, but remember, you control your time. And that's something else this class is going to teach you is time management. You're all going into careers where you're going to be managing your time. Okay. So you're going to have stuff that you're going to be expected to do over longer periods of time and manage your own time. Okay. So this is going to be really good for that. And if you need help with managing that time, ask and I can kind of help you with that as well. So let's look at our project here. This is something that we're going to have this week, next week, and the last week is a project. So something very important, the projects are going to be done in Microsoft. This one's done in Word, okay? Notice I said Word, not like word to your mother. Word as in Microsoft Word, okay? And it specifies you will use this. Okay, that doesn't mean Google Docs. Google Docs is a separate program. That's like saying I drive a Chevy Ford. Ain't no such thing. Okay, you do not drive a Toyota Honda either. Okay, if you do, that means you ran into somebody. Okay, so you will be using Microsoft Word. And the next thing I usually get, well, I don't own it. I tried to run it on my computer. It told me I had to buy it, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody here who's a student at Southern Tech, you have access to all the Microsoft programs. And how we do this is you're going to go to the student portal. And instead of going to Canvas, you're going to come down here to Microsoft 365. You're going to click on that. And if you haven't logged in, it's actually going to stop you and it's going to have you log in, and your login ID and user or your user ID and password is the same as your Canvas user ID and password. And for those of you who haven't experienced it yet, Microsoft controls our passwords here at Southern Tech. They control our user IDs and our passwords. So that's why you use those. And then when you get in here, what we're going to do is we're going to click on apps, which is way down in the bottom. And if you click on all apps, you will see them up here. And one of those is Word. If you click on all apps again, you'll see that we actually have a lot of apps that you have access to. But the one that we're actually interested in is Word. Now, as a student here, you can use any of the Microsoft apps that you see on that screen. And the thing we're going to do is we're going to do create blank document. That's going to open Word up here. Okay, now you will notice that this doesn't always look just like the way your book does. And this is not my favorite look here either. What I do is I come all the way over to the right, and there's a little caret down here. And when you hover over it, it says Ribbon Display Options. And I'm going to click that. And one of the choices, it says Classic Ribbon. And when I click that, you'll notice the ribbon, which is this big wide area up at the top, opened up, and it makes it a little bit easier to read. So I'm going to do that. The other thing I'm going to do is just to make it easier for you all at home, I'm going to change my view. And underneath the zoom here, where it says 100%, I'm going to say fit. And that just made my screen as wide as my actual screen. So that's going to make it easier for you to see the demo. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the project so you can see what we're going to be doing. So we're going to scroll down, and this gives the actual written instructions here as to what you're going to do. But this is kind of what we're doing. We're going to be creating this purchase order here. Now, some things that people typically get incorrect, where it has the vendor name, address, phone, website, you will be filling in information next to that. Your ship to address, contact, email, you'll be filling in information next to that as well. You'll have a date and you'll make up a PO number. You'll just make one up. And these lines here, you'll be filling those in with data that you retrieve from a vendor related to your field. You're actually going to do a search for a vendor out there that sells parts, etc., for something related to your field. Okay. So if you're a welder, you're going to look for things like either the actual welding equipment itself, or you're going to be looking for the rods, you're looking for gloves, helmets, things like that. You're going to have those items down here, put a little description. If you can find a part model number, you will put it here, or you will have to make that up. Put a quantity out here, what the price is, and then manually total that, okay? And there's a reason why I'm going to have you manually total it here. And no, I'm not going to go back and check your math. So if it's a little off, that's okay. The purpose is to demonstrate this as Word, not a math class, okay? So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Everybody good so far? Everybody understand what we're doing? Yep. All right. So here we go. We're going to be going back to our document here. And I happen to have a little cheat sheet here, so I'll have to keep flipping back and forth. So now your screen does not have to look 100% like this, but one thing I want to tell you is do not use a template off the internet or any place you find. Create your own. You need to make this your own. I do search for markers that indicate that it was copied from somewhere, so please don't do that. All right. You know, don't try to take credit for somebody else's work. That's Milli Vanilli. Don't do that. If anybody
I,
knows who they
I,
were.
I got a question.
Hmm.
So that all that information that we were supposed to fill out, we have to create that form first. Did I miss that part?
Yes, you will create
Oh,
that form. So I'm going to
but
show you how to do that right now.
oh yeah,
Okay.
okay, because I was having coronary over here. Okay, thanks.
Uh, nope. In these classes here, I will show you how to do every one of the projects. Every one of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I give you everything for the class, so that way I only think that's fair. Why would I ask you to do something and not give you the tools? I mean, I know I've had classes where they've done that, and I never understood that. I always took that as a sign of there's something wrong with the instructor. You know, they have some sort of complex. So, first thing it starts off with is it has a title. It says purchase order. Okay, that sounds simple enough. And I'm going to make sure this is on the home tab so I can see. This is actually a font of 12 here. And for a title at the top, I probably will make it bigger um, so that it stands out. And then I will shrink it back down to about 14 for the information underneath it. Now, I show in the actual thing a 2-column grid, okay? And where you do that is under Insert, and there's Table, and you'll see this area here. See how it just follows my cursor? And so it's 2 wide, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then click, and boom. That's how you create that. Now, that would be fine if I wasn't really putting in data next to the names. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to go to the home, and this little backwards arrow I'm going to undo. And I'm going to do that same thing, only when I do the table, I'm going to actually make it 4 across. And then I'm going to go 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason being is if you look at the data, this actually says vendor name. And I'm doing this for the ease of me putting in the information. Address. And then phone. And I'm using my actual arrow key to move down because since it's a grid, it's easy to do. Now I'm using my arrow key to move across and up, which is another reason to use a grid. And I'm typing ship to and using that arrow to move down. If I was doing this with just empty spaces and tabbing, I couldn't move around quite as easy. And putting in contact. And then here I'm putting in email. And now I've got the top part filled out. Now see where that circle is there? And when I move over it, I get that little plus sign. I can hold down my left mouse and I can drag that over if I wanted to. See how it's letting me drag it over? And if I get too close, then it wants to double up the information. But I'm going to drag that over as close as I can. That gives me the maximum amount of information to fill in. And if I want to, I can hold down the left mouse button and highlight that. And I can actually give these things colors. And, like if I wanted to do blue, I could put blue in there and things like that. So I can actually give these things color in here if you want. So those are things that you can do. Let's see, I think I can give this. I don't know if it'll let me highlight that or not. Yeah, I could highlight it. It doesn't give me the best color there, but you can give these different colors. You can go here, like in the first column, I can give it a color here. Let's see if it'll actually let me do that. It's not letting me. But that's something you can go back in there and you can do that. You can add color into that. For the sake of the demo, I'm going to move on. Down below that, we have space for a date. And I'm going to tab over and then a PO number. Now the PO number, this is going to be a number that you're just going to make up. You're not going to have a real PO number, obviously. Now, a couple of things about this date field. You can actually insert a current date here. Under here, there's different things that you can put in as far as in information. You can actually put in a date, but here's the problem. If you put in a current date, okay, every time you open this document, this date field will update. So I've seen this done many times where people think, oh, I'll put in the current date. That way, when I open it, I'll put it in, but it doesn't stop. So it's not a good reference to put in there if you want to keep a document so that you'll have it as a reference. So you'll know when this purchase order was done. So even though you can add data in here like that, be very careful when you're doing stuff like that because that system date will update every time you open it and it will change your history. Okay, so you can put in the current date, make up a PO number. Okay, this vendor name, address, phone number, find a website on the internet and populate this information here. Now, the ship to, this would be your campus and your campus address. The contact, this would be you. Okay, so just put in you and your student email would go in here. Okay, everybody good so far? All right.
Mr. Ray,
Okay.
you said that on the vendor side we can choose like a random um uh,
A random supplier. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't think, sorry,
Exactly.
I couldn't think of the word.
Yes, absolutely. Any any vendor that sells products related to your field. So like if you're in medical and you're looking at say scrubs and stethoscopes and things like that, you can put their vendor name, their address is usually on their web page, a phone, and the website you can cut and paste the link for their website in there. And that way you would have that in there. And so that should be easy to get off of the internet. Shouldn't be too
Okay.
difficult. Okay.
I have a,
It's
I have a question,
yes,
just a quickie. When you're talking about vendors with I'm in welding, so could I actually refer to Harbor Freight as that? Because I
yep.
was in there the other day and found out they have an enormous amount of stuff I didn't realize they had for welding.
Absolutely. Yeah, they sell everything from gloves to welding jackets to they actually have a very lower level of type of welding welders themselves all the way up to much higher ends too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite surprising. It's what's really nice, it gives people the ability to get smaller stuff and try things at home.
right,
I've had a lot of people in Auburndale buy some of their smaller pieces there and practice at home and then come in to the shop in Auburndale and practice more there. But sometimes transportation's more of an issue, so this allows them to practice at home when they can't get into the school. So,
right. No, totally understood. Okay, no,
yeah.
I just thought maybe that would be a good idea. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of those sites that Amazon's another good one that has a lot of general ones. The main thing is also to make people feel a little more comfortable using the internet because, you know, I know some people just don't want to or don't like to or have little experience searching for things as well. And sometimes you have to. I know working in vet office, I know it's weird doing human medical and then going to vet medical and things. And like I said, I've done most of these careers because I'm 2 days older than dirt. Uh, you find yourself having to search for things that you just may never have realized. Oh my gosh, I just thought that was always here. And then somebody is moved on, and then you realize that particular something or another runs out, and nobody knows how to order it.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah, the weirdest stuff that runs out. And it's always
I've
something
become
critical.
I've become best friends with Alexa. I
Yeah,
ask her for everything.
we had to get rid of Alexa in one room of my house. I have parrots and I have an African gray, and he learned how to talk to her. And so we had to get rid of Alexa in that room. He thought it
My
was really
McCall
funny.
hasn't achieved. My McCall has not achieved that, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, my macaw's voice wasn't clear enough for that, but the gray, oh yeah. So The next section, line items. So what are you going to get? So this one, again, it's a grid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across, and we're going to do 6 down. So we're going to do our insert, and we're going to do a table, and we're going to go 1, 2, and you'll notice, see how it counts it across for you at the top there? It says 6 by 1. You don't even have to count. It does it for you. I want 6 by 6. That would be a wonderful looking car. I'd love to have a 6x6. I guarantee you I would not be on the roads if I had that. Okay, item number goes in the first spot, and then description. The reason why we're doing it 6 across is because I need 5 lines for items. Part/model. And then I need a quantity, and then unit price. Now, if you're looking at the part model or the item number and it's like 20 characters long, just type in part of the number. Don't go typing in 20 characters per item if you can't cut and paste it. I really am not trying to make this a typing test. It's to show functionality. If I wanted to give busy work, I could be much more creative than that. And but I want to show functionality. Okay. That's how you do that bottom grid down there. Okay. So to get the price, this is going to be the quantity times, whoops, to get the total, I mean, it will be the quantity times, need to put a space in there, times the price. Okay. Just multiply that out. And then down here, you're going to have a grand total. Okay. Just put that down there, and that's going to be the total of this all the way down. So you're going to put this one in here, 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 and here. Okay. And then that's going to be the total of all of that. Are there any questions about how to fill this out? And you're going to do this for no more than 5 items. Okay. And
So you
part
said
of
just pretty much just put items that you would use in your career field in there and just kind of total it out.
exactly. And part of there's another reason for this is because I teach a career prep class off and on for Southern Tech here as well. And sometimes I end up with that person at the end and they know how to use things, but they don't know the name of the items they're using, as strange as that may sound. And so I want people to make sure they know what some of the items are that they're using in their career. So that's important too. Stefan, you have a question? I see a hand
Yeah,
up.
particularly for the part slash model
Mm-hmm.
column,
Mm-hmm.
like or just any like between the, but specifically if you don't have something in the description of the product that matches that category, what should I put in there? I mean, yeah.
If you should have something in either the description or the part model. If you have something in one or the other, and not say you have something in the description, but you don't have the part model, then put in/A. So say you have a description, but you don't have it here, put in/A. Okay.
Okay.
Just don't leave it blank. That way I know that you did something in here, or if you don't have the description, but you have the part model, but you should have a description, like this would
No, I have
say.
a description. I
Mhm.
guess I'm looking at like would material fit in that category?
That would work. That could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't overthink what needs to go under the part model. A lot of times the item is what you would order. The description would be like, say, a glove. Almost every career uses a glove. And then the part might be a manufacturer part or model, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what it would be. So you know, don't overthink it as far as I'm not that particular about this section here.
Okay.
I want to make sure that you feel comfortable making a grid, using a grid. Now, you can do math inside these grids, okay? But I'll tell you, it is cumbersome. If you
By
really want
inserting
to
like
do,
Excel formulas
yes, if you want to use something like an Excel formula, you're better off to actually do it in
in
Excel
Excel
and
and
then
then
paste
copy and
it
paste the
in.
formatting.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Doing the formula actually in a word grid is not ideal. I tried it and thought I could
I'll
teach it.
save that for next week.
Yes, and you will be thankful that I did not go through with doing the math inside here. It was not pretty, and I don't think it would be beneficial. I really don't. There are better ways to do it. So we'll touch on that part next week in Excel, and you'll see why it's much better to do that in Excel.
Yeah.
Any other questions? These are good.
So we got to show our work in the last one. I can't just put the answer.
Oh,
No, you can just put the
no.
answer.
Just put the answer. I was just showing exactly what it was.
Okay. All right, man.
Yeah, I was just showing people how to calculate it. Nope. You just have to show the answer.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
But yeah,
Nope.
sorry, I had one more question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in the directions, it says quantity centered. Does that mean the entire column? You want it centered? And then unit price and line total with decimal tabs.
Yeah, so when it says that on the unit price, make sure there's a decimal in there. Don't just put like 5 if it's $5. Make sure there's a decimal in there.
Okay. Because I was
Okay.
wondering if I was trying to figure out because you could do it easily in Excel, obviously.
Yeah.
Like format the entire column so that it's in currency format, like
Yeah.
whenever you type in.
And
But
so
I wasn't sure how to do that in Word, so I was kind of
so
confused.
so when you're in Word, if you are on the Home tab right here in the center, click that. So
Yeah,
just
I already did.
highlight it, and then for anyone, like if we were in this column here, highlight the column, go to the Home tab, click that Align Center, and it will align anything down here. Okay. Prices should have decimal points in them. Item numbers, because everyone's item numbers are going to be different. That formatting does not have to be any way, shape, or form. Your line totals should have decimal points because those should be dollar amounts. Same thing for the totals. Okay. And websites should be legitimate. I should be able to pull those out, paste them if they're not clickable, and should be able to verify that those work. All right.
Do you want it specifically to be a hyperlink?
It can or cannot. Some people, depending on skill, will get it and some won't. And so it's easy enough to do. You can either cut and paste the link in, or you can do insert and you can do link and you can paste the link in here. And an example of that is like where our Word project is. This link here, I can copy that. And if you go into Word here, back to here, if I paste that link in here, you see how big it is, and I say project and insert, you'll notice it makes that hyperlink nice and clean. But if I actually click on it It'll pop it up, and then because it's behind our firewall, it will make me sign in. But if it was a regular one, it would just take me right to it. That's how you put a nice clean hyperlink into your document. If you want to do that, you're welcome to it. You can either paste the whole link in, or you can do that in under insert, do that link. You can, if I wanted to, I could have named it Fred and said, okay, and Fred would now take me to that same location. That's how you control those hyperlinks and make them whatever you want, and it makes your document a little bit cleaner. That is strictly up to you. Any other questions? Nope, everybody's good there. Okay. So that leaves us up to midterm, because that's going to take us all the way through the week. At the end of this week, we will be halfway through the course. Can you believe that? Halfway? Ooh. So midterm. Everyone always kind of clenches up when it's midterm. Hate to tell you this, but I do not do a midterm. Don't mean to disappoint people, but I do not do a midterm exam. You just came into the class. I mentioned this briefly last week. You just came into the class. You had 1 week. You had a little quiz. You got this week. You get a quiz on this week. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean forget everything you learned last week, then forget everything you learned this week. At the end, there will be a final exam. It's going to cover weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the way Microsoft is built, those menus at the top and those ribbons, a lot of those things are used from program to program to program. So you're going to kind of learn how to do the things going into the next one. So don't set it and forget it, okay? This isn't one of those infomercials, all right? So learn as you go. And one of the things I tell people is you're not going to memorize everything. So kind of learn where things live. Okay. There's a hand up.
Yeah, where do you find it? You gonna do what you did last week and send us the discussion on the YouTube?
Yes, I am. And last week it took a while for it to process. Usually it doesn't take that long for it to process. I was wondering if it was going to finish. And so, you know, I was halfway through my milk and cookies when that thing finished. I was like, what took it so long? So yes, I will send you the video link, and you will also always have the video link on the modules too, but I have to have
Yeah, I
YouTube
can't find it on
process
the
it
module.
first.
I like. It's hard to find it on the module. It's easier that you just send it to me and I can just hit the link.
Yeah, either way, I have to wait for them to finish it, but it took a long time for it to finish, and I was like, okay, what's taking it? But yeah, as soon as I finish the live session, what I do is I download it, I shoot it over to YouTube, they process it, they give me the link back, and then I will send it out tonight. All right?
Okay, my other question is on the discussion and the quizzes and stuff. You said you could use a Mac tablet, correct?
Yes, so if you have, okay, so are you talking about an iPad or a
Yes,
Mac? Okay.
iPad.
Okay, so if you have an iPad, what I strongly recommend is if you have a keyboard attached to it, like I have a Logitech keyboard for mine, and it's got a touchpad. That works great. If you don't have one of those, it's harder because the on-screen keyboard that takes up a lot of room. Okay, but either way, it will work. But don't use the app. Go through Chrome just like you would on a computer. Go through Chrome, go to the student portal, and go through that way. Do not, do
Yeah,
not, do
I
not
got
run
that
the app.
part. Yeah,
Oh,
but I ain't gonna be able to get the keyboard.
okay. So Do you know anybody with a Bluetooth keyboard will work too? Bluetooth keyboards are inexpensive. I don't buy the Apple brand keyboards because they're way too expensive, and they're not that great, to be honest.
A Bluetooth keyboard. I could try to see if I can get one on Amazon before I leave. Cause remember I told you I'm going to Hong Kong, so I got somebody that got me the iPad because I got an Android.
Yeah, because a regular Bluetooth keyboard will work with it. You just pair it like a regular Bluetooth device, and you can get a regular Bluetooth keyboard at
Hey,
Walmart or someplace too.
as,
They're not expensive.
as someone who comes from Hong Kong, I'd recommend going to an internet cafe just to do your homework.
There you go. There you go.
Well, I got
The-
Wi-Fi in the hotel. That's not a problem, but it's just the keyboard, I guess. Cause I went and somebody donated me a iPad, so I'm good on that.
Yeah, it'll work with the on-screen keyboard. It's just I found that it uses up a lot of space on the screen when you're using it. That's the only thing. You just have a very small screen space. Try it before you go though, and see how you do. That's the biggest thing. But it works fine. It will work fine. Just don't use the app. Go through Chrome, and it's really up to you. Of course, I'm about half blind as a bat. That's why I wear telescopes on my face. But so it might not be as bad for you, but I found that it just took up a lot of screen space trying to use the keyboard while doing SimNet on there. And so, but if I'm out and about, I do have my iPad with me. I do run SimNet on it, and but I have that fold out Logitech keyboard, and I picked that up at Best Buy. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got another question.
Yeah.
So when I did the assignment today and I answered all the questions, um, when it got to the point where it asked about the extension, and I said
Yes.
no, it
Yeah.
said I failed it.
It said you what?
I failed it. It said I got it wrong.
Yes. Yes. It's no matter what you put, it's always going to say they're wrong. I have to manually grade those assignments.
Oh, and then
So
and then there was another one that asked me about, and it said I got it wrong. So it was like three I got wrong.
yeah, I go back and regrade it. The auto grader is always going to say they're wrong. So
And then I
if you,
and then I and then I also tried to look up my grades from week one, and there's nothing there other than the introduction that's graded that I could
uh,
see.
they should all be graded, but make sure you're not checking on a phone because those don't always update on phones. Make sure you're checking on the computer. And again, not through the
Oh, okay,
app.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, check again, and if it's still not updated, send me a note, either text or email, and I'll look for you and see what's going on because everything should have been up to date right before we got on the call. I was looking at one person's uh, grades, and they were looking fine to me, but they weren't looking fine to them. So I was looking at that right before this call. Okay. So if anybody
Okay,
has anything
thank you.
like that, let me know. All right. Anybody else? Nope.
Um, yeah,
Oh, go
quick
ahead.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I find, yeah, I found the instructions for the lab itself to be a little lackluster, or they or lacking information. I should say. Will the next one be the same way, or since like, or is it meant to that we get more info from you on like in the live session about it?
Okay. If you send me something letting me know what you found missing or what you needed more of so that I can see what can be done about the next one. That
Okay.
way, um, because I'll be more than happy to improve it, but otherwise I won't know what you are seeing as not
Like
having everything.
specifically with this one, like it says they insert your own data, and yes, like you could have inferred that information that would you end up giving us, like looking up something related to the field. Still would have been a lot more helpful if it's directly says that. I mean, like it's just like an extra sentence.
Okay. Okay,
That
anything like
yeah.
that, honestly, anything like that, let me know. I'll be more than happy to add. I always look for feedback. So anything like that, I'll read the next one coming up and see if there's anything like that that could be missing. I always ask for feedback from the class before yours, and nothing was mentioned. So that's why that hasn't been added, but I'll be more than happy to add that in. So if you have anything else like that, let me know. I'll take that suggestion and add that in now for anybody who's reading it, uh, that hasn't done the project already. They will see that change, and I'll probably add that in tonight. So it'll be a
Thank you, sir.
relatively quick change. Absolutely. And things like that benefits everybody. And I'm always looking for things like that. Things that I may take it as something that's understood. It may not be understood for everybody. I'm close to the subject, so sometimes things are overlooked. So please, if you see something like that, definitely let me know so that things like that can be changed. All right? Absolutely. Thank you, Stefan. Anybody else? All right, that is it. The next actual due is Wednesday, and I will be sending messages out. I'll be sending the link to this video out as soon as I get it back from YouTube. Everybody have a great night, have a great week, and I will be seeing you through text and emails. Have a great one, y'all.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
Mr. Hadley.
Bye.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.